All right, back with you now here at the KFYR Plus News Desk. And today we are exploring North Dakota's iconic Enchanted Highway, how it began, what it means to the communities it touches, and the challenges now threatening its future. Joining me is Leanne Styszowski. I don't see Rich Wardner nor artist Gary Greff to share the project's past and path forward. So we'll say welcome to Leanne, though, however. Hello, Leanne.
Hello. Yes, Rich Wardner couldn't be on today, and uh, it was never in the plan for Gary to come on. Yep, no, so I'm sick today, and Rich Wardner had plans to be out of town already. So
Okay.
my
All
big
right.
extravagant plan to have him on was not going to be possible.
Okay, so you've already the segment that you've got with him coming up Sunday morning on Western Edge Living. That's already I guess, in the can, as they'd say.
Yep. It's already
Okay,
it's already planned. Yep.
okay. So I've got a whole list of questions, and I don't know if you could answer them, but it's not that you're going to answer them. But can you tell me if these questions are going to be asked? That's what I'm asking, or what I'm looking for. The foundation's president, Rich Wardner, right? Do
Yep.
you talk to him more than you talk to Gary, or is Gary even a part of your interview? Or
Gary is. So Rich Wardner is on the first half of the show, the first 10 minutes of the show,
gotcha.
and then we have, last but not least, Gary Greff, the artist and self-taught welder. Um, the as I called him, the hands and heart behind the entire project. He comes on second, and he talks about what inspired him and how
Mm-hmm.
he did it. He was
Yeah.
formerly a high school president, or sorry, not president, principal there in Regent. And when he came back in 1989, he seen his little town dying, and he knew he had to do something. So he taught himself how to weld and started building these tin and metal statues along that highway.
Which is incredible in itself, right? I mean, if you're going to
Mhm.
teach yourself
Yep.
to do something, teach yourself how to weld, and then put these big structures up along a major highway in the state of North Dakota. So, what drew you to the story to begin with?
One of my core memories, when my folks were living in Glendive, we packed up one day. I was quite young. I think I was only 5 years old. They
Mm-hmm.
packed us up, and we drove all the way out here to the Enchanted Highway to see Gary's first statue that he built, the Tin Man family. And I remember sitting on one of the feet, and I just remember and realizing, after going down to the Enchanted Castle at the end of the highway down there, they have the restaurant Excalibur, which is a steakhouse. They have seafood and steak, and me and my husband go down there once a month for date night. And realizing that if the sculptures don't stay maintained, that they could be taken down. So that was my inspiration to start getting the word out, and finding out that they have a foundation with a
Mm-hmm.
group of people that are working toward preserving it was very encouraging. So I figured I would have them on the show to talk about what it's going to take, and what are their plans for the future. They're planning on potentially putting up some playground equipment at each of the statues for families, updating the kiosks with the information behind each statue. That's going to take a little bit of funding, and just making sure that those statues are staying safe and fit for families to be around. Um, and who, once Gary is gone, is going to be taking care of them, and what it's gonna take to do that.
I don't know if you asked this question or not, Leanne, but the foundation, do they currently what do they spend their most on, the resources? I'm talking, is it maintenance? Is it promotion of the Enchanted Highway? Or is it preservation? Do you know if you'd asked that question of Rich at all?
Um, No, not necessarily, but in a roundabout way. I think the biggest thing
Yep.
is going to be maintenance and preservation of each, because you got to think, North Dakota, we have these winds, we have changing weather. Um, as much as most people don't want to believe it, it does get pretty warm here. We have pretty arid, hot weather. And then we go from that to extreme cold. Well, that's going to take a toll on steel and iron.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was about $75,000 per site is what it would take for updates and preservation. But yeah, I guess not only that, but they have new projects going on. Gary has a bunch of ideas, and he talks about his new ideas. They have two new sculptures called Sir Albert and the Dragon, which is the biggest of all of
Mm-hmm.
them so far, and that is right next to the high school, which is now the Enchanted Castle motel and restaurant. They want to make the dragon fire breathing, and they're going to have some sort of an induction ceremony for Sir Albert and the dragon. I'm not sure when completion is going to be, but if you watch the show, you'll be able to see some footage of the new statues. Gary also talks about some of the new things that he wants to do as far as I think he said an amusement park of sorts. So, well, you'll have to see to find out exactly what his ideas are for the future.
Okay, you can catch that again. It's 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain Time, Sunday mornings on West Dakota Fox. It's Western Edge Living. Leanne, just so how many monuments are there for the Enchanted Highway? Do you know offhand? I mean, are we looking at what, 10,
Seven, seven.
7 of them, right? Okay, yeah, I was thinking
Yeah,
it's going to be near 10 with these next 2 or 3. Yeah, so I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you're right on there. Because I remember, gosh, the last time I went down it was just a few years ago, and sometimes you see these beautiful things on the side of the highway, and you think to yourself, how long did it take a person to do that, right? I mean,
Some of
and
them.
secondly, did he have a ladder that he had to use to get up there? And
Yeah,
and if he needs to, maybe spot weld something, how does he get up there to do
yep.
that?
Yeah, it's quite incredible to think about, and I'm not necessarily sure. He had a shop that he was working out of, but I guess that had burnt down, and in there was a vault with a safe that had camcorder footage of him building all of these, and some of them took 6 years. Is what if To answer your question, some of those statues took 6 years
Hmm.
for one person to make. Um, but in that. Um, Vault in his shed where he was working or his shop. Um, he has this footage of him building all of these, and the case had melted around this camcorder footage. So when I was down there last time, a couple weeks ago, he was wondering if there were any curators around that could somehow salvage that footage, because I think that would be great to be able to save and keep historically,
Yeah.
for the long term. But that's probably something I would have to talk to the Historical Society about to see if they have a curator of sorts to see if they can save that.
Yeah.
But um, uh, and then another thing is he wants to fill, there's a section of the Enchanted Highway where it's kind of sparse, right? I think it's about 12
Sure.
miles where there's nobody. He's wanting to fill that in with 3 more sculptures in the future. One of them being a Native American, and
Hmm.
the other 2 we didn't quite talk about, but just to fill in that gap as you go down, so you don't feel like it's going on for too long without a statue. But with that, he would need land donated for the cause. But I have to apologize. My throat and my
Yeah.
voice is a little off
Okay.
today. I've been quite sick.
Yeah, we won't keep you too long. Just maybe a final question here. I've never met
Yeah.
Gary. I didn't Google Gary. I'm guessing Gary's got to be of an older man, because if he's a principal in 1989, he's got to be at least 30 years old. I'm not sure they're giving principals away at 23 out of
He's in his
college.
70s. He's in his
So,
70s.
so it's 40 years ago. Yeah. So he's got to be, yeah. Uh, Again, I'm not sure how old he is. He's as old as my dad for sure, 72, 73.
Yep.
If it takes that long, is he worried that he's able to finish some of these projects?
Um, I I think he's just worried about keeping on,
Mm-hmm.
and God forbid when that happens, then it happens. But luckily, he has a group of people that are working to make sure that they find welders and whatnot to help
Okay.
carry on what is going on. Mhm.
Does he have more? Is it more than just him? Because obviously in the beginning it was just Gary that was doing it. Is it all anybody else helping Gary at all? Or
It's just Gary, and then the foundation is taking care of the funding needs. Yep.
okay, so the foundation is helping with the fund. Well, tell the foundation to get a mask on and some gloves, and let's go. Stick weld, MIG weld. I don't care what you need to do. Help the
All the
man out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that Gary would allow it. I think that he takes much pride in knowing that it was him and him alone. I think that's where a lot of his pride comes in.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, you get a chance to check the foundation's president, Mr. Wardner, Rich Wardner,
Mhm.
and Gary
Yep.
Greff, who is the originator and the artist himself. You'll catch more in the in-depth conversation Sunday morning on Western Edge Living, Fox Television, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 7:30 Mountain Time with Leanne Stashowski. She's your host this week on the big program. Leanne, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay. We'll talk to you next time.
You got it. Bye-bye now. All right, 13 minutes past the hour. We'll take a break. We're back with the day's top news stories next.